People that are hungry are willing to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have.
The question isn't can you handle the situation. The question is can you handle your mind.
What changed? I changed. And I stopped being a victim. I stopped saying I've got to wait for good things to happen to me. And I said I'm going to grind. I'm going to fight. I'm going to work.
A lot of the hardest problems are so easy to solve. We just have to take those steps, which are hard.
I can do anything. I can do it.
Welcome to On the Rise. I talk about personal development, small business, and I interview entrepreneurs on the rise. They call me Level Up Nelson, and I am your host. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Level Up Nelson. The phone lines are open at 800-419-5975. That's 800-419-5975. This podcast is brought to you by DatChat, the future of email and messaging. DatChat puts you in control of your text messages and allows you to pull back any message you've sent using secure blockchain technology. DatChat IPOs in early 2020 to the NASDAQ. Visit datchat.com/levelups and get a once-in-a-lifetime exclusive pass to purchase shares now. Again, that's datchat.com/levelups. And to my Level Up family, welcome back to the show. And my guest tonight is an entrepreneur, a commercial banker, and co-owner at the Social Butterfly. She goes by the name of Marileidy Morel. She's got her MBA too, guys.
Woohoo.
Yes. Marileidy, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Nelson. I'm really excited. Been looking forward to this for a while now. So thank you.
Sure, absolutely. So I like to start my show with a quote of the day, and kind of give the audience a chance to chime in as well. But obviously, we put our 2 cents on it and see what we get out of it. So this one tonight is: life is 10% what happens to you, and 90% how you react to it. Read that one more time. So life is 10% what happens to you, and 90% of how you react to it. And that is from Charles R. Swindoll. So what do you think?
I felt that.
Right?
I felt that.
It's a good one, right?
Really good, and I agree. It's like, so many things will happen, and unfortunately you really can't control most of the things that happen to you, but it's up to you how you react to it, how you take things. So I completely agree. It's up to you how things are going to turn out. You can't avoid them.
Right.
But once they happen, it's up to you how, which route you want to take, how you're going to let things affect you.
Right.
So.
And I really like, because look, it kind of forces you to be a doer, right? Instead of just waiting for good things to happen to you or waiting for somebody else to solve your problems, right? It kind of puts you in the driver's seat and says, hey, look, things are going to happen to you, but what changes the outcome of what your life becomes is how you react.
Exactly.
Right? And that's 90%.
That's a lot.
Right? That's everything, right?
Exactly.
So actions. So shout out some folks tuning in tonight. Tommy Diaz, I see you. Rick Edwards, Miss Alina Lee, thank you so much for tuning in. John Joseph Kessler, I see you. David Weston, good to see you. All right. So look, let's talk about your story. Let's talk about what you do. I know the Social Butterfly. I mean, I know you're really passionate about the blog.
Yes.
Shout out to the co-founder, right? Shout out to
Samantha. I'm not sure if she's listening. She does have a 1-year-old who's my goddaughter, Juliana. So she may be getting ready for bed now, but if she went to bed early, because we did go out to brunch today, so hopefully she's listening. But big shout out, sorority sister, comadre, everything. That's my sister.
Okay. So let's talk about the Social Butterfly. I mean, it sounds so catchy. Number one, I know you got the blog going.
It's a blog. So it's the story behind it. It's like a lot of things. Like, it's not how we originated things. With time things change. So I actually started writing a long time ago, like right after college. I graduated '09. I was never, it's funny enough because I have an MBA, but I have never been like the biggest fan of math.
Wow, yeah, me too.
So, so I was always good with writing. So after college, I decided I was writing poetry on Facebook and I was getting good feedback. So I decided, you know what, why not start a blog? And back then, like 2010, blogging it was there, but it wasn't like such a huge thing.
Yeah.
Like now, it wasn't really a business. It was just, you know, I'm just
hobby
doing,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
and I'm just doing this for fun, and I'm sharing it with people, and people are enjoying it. So I started this page called Marileidy.com, which was my writing, and then maybe like a year into it, I met up with Samantha, who we also graduated together from Montclair State, class of '09.
Okay.
Shout out. I know you did '09 King, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which by the way, we both graduated like at the worst time ever.
Yep. Crisis,
Yeah. So you know we did broadcasting as undergrads at Montclair State.
Okay.
So we were good with the camera. We were good with video editing and all that cool stuff. So we decided to link up and do something a little different, because by then like blogging was picking up a little bit of momentum. So we're like, you know what, why don't we try something different? Let's start doing, use our talent and start doing video interviews and things like that. So we actually got invited to Miami Swim Week, which was huge back then. We linked up with Susette Cabrera, who's we still in touch with her. So she was doing PR for a swimsuit company, so she invited us to Swim Week and down in Miami. So we did that, and that's how we kicked off the Social Butterfly. So it was fashion, travel, lifestyle, like everything, but it was like with like video.
Got it.
So we did that for a while, and then after a couple of years, life obviously gets in the way. So she got married and had a child, and then I had, well, the child is more recent, but she got married, and then I had my own stuff going on. Like I decided that I wanted to go back to school and get an MBA, and unfortunately not everyone has the luxury to go to school full time. So I still had my regular job, and then I had school on the side, which I was on part time. So we just got really busy, and kind of like it was still there, but we posted whenever we could.
Okay.
So what we decided, like towards the end, well, maybe like a year ago, around this time last year, was, we had this for so long, but it started as something fun, but now, like, I'm looking, we turn around and we're looking at it, like, the people that we started with, like, around the same time as us, they're, like, huge, and they're making all this money, and then we're just here, like, okay, we have a blog for fun, So we're like, you know what, it's time to kind of just sit back and figure things out. So that's when we decided to look at it from a business standpoint.
Perspective,
Yeah, so... and I'm the type of person that I like to analyze things first. I don't like to just jump into anything. So, here's the issue or the obstacle. I leave it there. I sit back, and then I analyze it, from every direction, and I try to see how we can make things work. So that's what we did. We decided to switch, obviously post more often, like if you have a blog or if you have a social media feed.
Was it like a mixture of videos and pictures? Or?
So it was videos and pictures, but after when we both got busy, her with her marriage and me with school, and she was doing school too. She also has her MBA, by the way. So when we both got busy, we stopped doing the video thing, but we continued doing the blogging here and there whenever we could. But we decided to, again, do it more as a business as opposed to just for fun. So we decided to analyze, when, and Facebook, both Facebook and Instagram have this really cool thing, but especially Instagram, that you could go in and you could see your analytics. So you could see, who's your audience, between what age group, where, what's the best time for you to post that you're going to get, maximize the most. So we decided to study all of that and kind of attack from that direction. So for the past year, then it's been more, we've been taking it more as a business. So we're posting
taking it more serious,
working with brands that before, someone will reach out to us and they'll be like, oh, I have this really cool shampoo. I'll send it to you for free. And then we'll get like really excited, like, oh,
Right.
free shampoo. But then we're like, we're looking at other people and it's like, hey, she's posting the same shampoo, but she's going to pay for it,
Right.
So, what do we need to do to get to that level? So that's what we started doing, building relationships with brands, building a relationship with your audience, because that's the main thing. Like,
oh yeah, that's key.
You may have 100,000 followers, and our following is not that big. It's close to 2,500. It's not that big,
Right.
but we have a solid crowd that supports us, and that's what's important, and that's something that we didn't think about in the past either. Like, we had these followers,
Right.
but we weren't engaging with them.
Got it.
So we were losing people, and I think that's the reason why, like, with all these years, the following wasn't going up, because people will come in and be like, well, she hasn't posted it. Well, they haven't posted in 3 months, so like,
yeah,
I'm gonna unfollow them. So ever since we decided to get more serious about it, then people have been sticking around.
Staying around, yeah.
Now we're building our relationship with them.
And that consistency.
Right. So that's where we are now. But we're at a point now too where we're sitting back and we're rebranding. We're at now. We decided to rebrand again. So
yeah,
that's where we are.
and you got to do that sometimes. Freshen up the brand a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of like what you were saying from the beginning. Trying something new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And putting something out, that's fresh and something that you are not just the folks that are already following you, but the new crowd
Right.
that's coming in.
Right.
All right. So all right, folks, on the rise, Nelson Stryker. Shout out to everybody tuning in tonight. Miss Nora, we see you.
Oh, that's my work life. Hi, Nora.
Dora Sanchez, thank you so much for checking us out tonight. Maritza, how you doing? Thank you so much. I'm here. And you said Mary. You were going by Mary?
Mary, or Mariposa, which is
Mariposa?
butterfly, which,
Okay.
no pun intended.
Hey, okay. so I'm here with Mary Morel, MBA. We're talking business. She's got the social butterfly. Shout out to her partner Samantha. I don't know if she's out there tonight. I think you said she might be out for the night.
Yeah.
Okay, but shout out to her. So look, we talked about the social butterfly, but I don't think we really got into. I mean, I know you guys wanted to do something together, right? But because I don't really see a lot of women coming together like that, and just even being business partners. I see most women doing their own thing. So how did you, like, what, because I know you said she was your friend.
Yeah.
Right? So was that the main reason why you guys came together and did the business, or was she interested in doing a blog and you were interested in doing a blog, and you guys said, you know what, instead of doing our stuff separately, let's do it together? Was it kind of like that?
Well, no, like I mentioned earlier, I had the blog already.
Yeah. And what does she have?
So she just, when we were in school, and
Yeah.
I'll admit this because now I have an MBA, I'm not doing communications anymore. Like, I sucked at editing and all of that stuff. So she had like the technical part down. So
okay.
then I was like, I went to her. I was like, hey, listen, I have the blog. I want to change things around. You're really good with like camera and editing.
Right.
Why don't we just, come together and do this thing? And that's how we started.
Got it.
Yeah. So.
Okay. All right. So I mean, all right. So we got the social butterfly, and how does what you do full time, being in commercial banking, how do you connect those dots to what you guys are doing at the social butterfly?
So my job is like working commercial real estate in the city.
More commercial real estate. Okay.
So it's and I can mention the bank. It's Capital One Bank.
Okay, shout out to Capital One. I got that Capital One credit card.
Yes, I think a lot of us do. I mean, it was my first credit card. So,
Yeah.
So I work in the commercial real estate division, and it's like all of the big buildings in the city. Those are like our clients, and then we handle those portfolios.
Okay.
So I would say that my experiences at Capital One, and not even at Capital One, just in the corporate role, because I used to work in a branch before, and within the past year, at a year and a half actually, I transitioned to the commercial side. So I would say that from the business standpoint, it has really helped me with the blog because a lot of the skills that I picked up in the new job have really helped me from the business side. Because before it was about, taking the pretty pictures and, writing, the story to go with it. But now when it comes down to, okay, I need to negotiate with a brand.
Okay.
Then I think the skills that I've been gaining at my job and from my MBA as well
come into play,
are coming into play because, and I'm sure you see this a lot because you speak to a lot of business owners. It's like, you meet these people that they're great at what they're doing, but when the business starts growing, they get a little lost because they don't understand the business side of things.
Right.
And I think that, again, both my job and school have helped me with that.
Right. Okay, that's a beautiful thing. So listen, folks, we're gonna take a quick break. Again, shout out to everybody tuning in. We are going to play some ads, and we'll be back in about two minutes, folks. All right. Podcast is brought to you by DatChat, the future of email and messaging. DatChat puts you in control of your text messages and allows you to pull back any text message you've sent using secure blockchain technology. DatChat IPOs in early 2020 to the NASDAQ. Visit datchat.com/levelups and get a once-in-a-lifetime exclusive pass to purchase shares now. Again, that's datchat.com/levelups. Tired of your student loan debt? Well, you're not alone. Forbes tallied up the student loan debt in America and it hit $1.2 trillion. But there's good news. Hundreds of college graduates are using the legal cannabis industry to get themselves out of debt without student loan forgiveness. Legal marijuana sales already hit $9 billion, and by 2023, the projections are saying $20.3 billion. That's everything from CBD to THC products. And if you don't know what CBD and THC is what gets you high. CBD has all those health benefits in it. Okay, so wouldn't you like to have your student loan debt disappear in 3 years or less? Send an email right now to swervecannabis@gmail.com and put student loans in the subject line. Again, that's swervecannabis@gmail.com and make sure you put student loans in the subject line. All right, folks, and we're back. Nelson Stryker on the rise. I'm here with the co-founder at The Social Butterfly, Miss Mari Morel, and we are going in tonight. So listen, let's jump into a little bit more of your story in the background. I mean, because obviously you know my show is about personal development.
Yes.
And that's really what I base everything on. So, I mean, I know you had to, transition, from where you were, essentially from the retail side, right? Basically to the corporate.
Yes.
And a lot of people can't make that jump. They don't got it. So how did you get that? How did you do it?
Well, it was definitely a journey. Let's just start by saying that. So I've been in banking for a long time, by the way. I think I was 2010.
Okay.
That's when I first started. Started in Wachovia when it was Wachovia.
Oh,
so,
wow.
It was that long ago.
Yeah.
So I started in banking. I was a teller, moved my way up in Wachovia, then Wells Fargo. And then eventually I ended up transitioning to Capital One in 2015. And I don't know if you heard or anyone that's familiar with Capital One, they've been making a lot of changes, and they have closed a lot of locations. So the first place that I was in, the first branch, which was Fishfield, New Jersey, I was there for about a year, and then I got the news that my branch was closing, and I was actually part of that first wave of branch closings. So I was like, great. So luckily I was able to apply internally, and I stood with the bank, and I ended up going to another location, which is Lincoln Park, New Jersey. So I was there for about a year and a half, almost 2 years, I want to say. So when I'm in Lincoln Park, New Jersey, well, when I first started in Capital One, I joined this group, which is called OLA, which is like the Hispanic network, and it's basically the company has like all of these different business resource groups, and you could join them. Doesn't matter what you are. I mean, anyone could join OLA, anyone could join the Asian network, anyone could join the African American network. It's just, it's up to you who you want to link up with, who you want to be part of, and you could always be an ally. So I saw that OLA had this mentorship program, but I had just started in the company, and I didn't feel ready to be part of the program because I was still learning the role, and I didn't feel like it was fair for me, to take time away from my role that I was still learning to go and do this extra thing.
Right.
So I decided to wait like another year, and by the time that the program came back around the next year, then I was at the new branch.
Okay.
So I joined this program with permission of my manager, and I got linked up with like the most amazing mentor. Her name is Lucy. She's no longer my mentor now, but she was amazing, and she helped me out so much because I had so many things that I needed to work on, and I just didn't know how, and she was able to guide me. So mentorship is very important, by the way. So I completely recommend it. I actually have 2 younger girls that I'm mentoring now myself because I feel like it's my time to give back. So I worked with this mentor. Through that mentorship program, I used to go into the city every month to do the career development classes. So I'm learning resume writing. I'm learning interviewing skills. I'm learning, developing and selling my brand, because I think that's the worst for a lot of us. Like, it's really hard for us to sell ourselves, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I had a really hard time. Like, I'm doing my job, but to me, I'm just doing my job. So, like, all these extra things that I'm doing, I'm looking at it as I'm doing my job, but essentially, like, if you're going out of your way above and beyond, then that's things that you need to give yourself credit for, which as humans, a lot of us don't give ourselves enough credit. So I'm in the program. While I'm in the program, I'm talking to my mentor. I joined, my job has like a career development center, so I got a career coach. So I'm doing everything. I mean, the company's paying for us. I'm like, hey,
nice.
taking advantage of it,
Might
right?
as well, yeah.
So while I'm talking to my mentor and I'm talking to my career coach, we identify a role that, because I always told them, I was like, I want to go to the commercial bank. Like, I've been in retail for so long. I feel like I got this role down packed. Like,
yeah, it's enough.
I'm ready. I'm ready to move on. And I'm in school doing my MBA. Like, I'm ready to move on out of retail. It's been great. I've learned a lot, but I'm ready. So we identified this role, which is the role that I'm in now, which had a lot of the skills that I had at the branch could be transferable.
Yeah.
So, funny how things happen. So I reach out to someone that's doing the current role that I'm in now, and I'm like, hey, can I come shadow you in the city? So I go shadow him. After I leave, I'm like, I really like that. So, like, I'm on my way home. I'm in Secaucus. And I'm like, oh, let me go on LinkedIn to see if they have anything available.
Okay.
Which, shout out to LinkedIn, 'cause that's how we connected.
Yeah, that's right.
So I was like, let me go on LinkedIn to see if they have anything on this role. And, there was something available in the city for the same role that I had just shadowed.
Right.
And that my mentor and my career coach told me about, right? So I'm like, oh, that's awesome. When I get home tonight, I'm going to apply for the role, right?
Yeah.
So I get home, and I open up my email, and it's an email from a recruiter in Capital One with that she's like, oh, hey, I have this role. Would you like to apply for it? I'm like, are you kidding me? This is awesome.
Wow.
But just actually to go back a little bit before then, I forgot to mention. So the first person I was in close. So around the same time that I went to shadow, like the day before or maybe like the week before, I had found out that my branch was closing too.
Wow.
So I was like, great. So there's like this internal joke in the company that I'm like, I bring the closures, because everywhere I go, it's like they're closing.
Wow.
So I had just found out that my branch was closing. So, I had already taken my time to build relationships. So I built relationships strong enough that my resume landed on a recruiter's desk, and it wasn't just a coincidence. I'm just going to put it at that.
Right.
Because I had taken my time to build relationships.
And that's key.
Right? So, at the end of the day, though, like, people could only do so much for me. So people helped me out, to get that resume there. But after that resume was there, it was my responsibility.
You got to deliver, yeah.
So, and then, I don't want to give away too much from my company and how the process was, but it was a very long process and multiple interviews. And again, the hardest thing for me was to sell myself. But by doing those career development classes and by doing, having those meetings with my mentor.
You were ready.
And studying the role, like I literally studied this role for 6 months before it even became available.
Wow.
So when the role opened up, I was ready.
Yeah.
Because I already knew the ins and outs. I had already sat down with someone and shadowed them. So I knew what they did.
Right.
And I was able to sit back and I was able to compare my current job with that new job. And I was able to, go into that interview and say, hey, listen, this is what I can bring to the table because this is what I know that you guys do, and this is what I could do to make things better.
Wow.
So they were sold.
Wow.
They were sold, and it's funny that there were 2 hiring managers that were hiring, and they both wanted to hire me.
Yeah.
So and that says a lot, And for someone like me, that those that know me well, it's hard for me to just put myself out there. For me to like go from like this quiet girl that I'm like, well, I'm just doing my job. So, hey, listen, you need to hire me because I'm going to kill this job and I'm going to be the best person for this job.
Right.
And I did it. And, I'm glad.
Now, wait. Now, was that because you had already heard that the branch was that your branch was closing, and that's what motivated you, or you was already capped out? Like you was ready to go.
I was ready. When I found out that the branch was closing, I was already doing my research.
Right.
So I had already scheduled my shadow day.
Okay.
With the person. So,
okay.
Yeah, and everything just happens. Like it's true what they say. When one door closes, another one's gonna open because that happened, and then everything was just on a roll right after that.
Wow.
So.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay. All right. Look, on the rise, folks. Nelson Stryker. I'm here with the co-founder at the Social Butterfly. And for those of you out there in real estate, if you have any questions, throw them our way. If we had to pinpoint it, Mary, what would we, if they had a question, would it just be about getting loans or anything like that?
So I do commercial real estate. I don't do mortgages or anything like that. That's like on a bigger scale because they're like huge clients.
Yeah. Because when I think of the banks, I think of mortgages.
Yeah, so it's a little different. So we do those things, but that's through like a relationship banker. But these clients are so huge that it's like,
wow.
Yeah, it's a little bit more complicated than regular.
So it's like more so financial products and stuff like that.
Yeah, so like I do like account openings, and then I work with different teams to for whatever the client needs. So if the client needs a loan, I work with a relationship manager and a bunch of different people, an asset manager, because again we're dealing with huge clients like that own buildings in the city.
Wow.
And I'll tell you offline some of my clients, but I don't want to put them on the spot. But they're like so big that it's like, it's not like your regular real estate loan.
Right.
We're talking about like multiple deals. Sometimes we have 3 banks working at the same time for one loan. So.
Jeez.
Yeah.
100 million and up.
Maybe, I don't know. Not putting anyone on the spot.
Hey.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we're gonna take a quick break and pay the bills. We'll be right back. Podcast is brought to you by DatChat, the future of email and messaging. DatChat puts you in control of your text messages and allows you to pull back any text message you've sent using secure blockchain technology. DatChat IPOs in early 2020 to the NASDAQ. Visit datchat.com/levelups and get a once-in-a-lifetime exclusive pass to purchase shares now. Again, that's datchat.com/levelups. Tired of your student loan debt? Well, you're not alone. Forbes tallied up the student loan debt in America and it hit $1.2 trillion. But there's good news. Hundreds of college graduates are using the legal cannabis industry to get themselves out of debt without student loan forgiveness. Legal marijuana sales already hit $9 billion, and by 2023, the projections are saying $20.3 billion. That's everything from CBD to THC products. And if you don't know what CBD and THC is. THC is what gets you high. CBD has all those health benefits in it. Okay, so wouldn't you like to have your student loan debt disappear in 3 years or less? Send an email right now to swervecannabis@gmail.com and put student loans in the subject line. Again, that's swervecannabis@gmail.com, and make sure you put student loans in the subject line. Nelson Stryker on the rise. I am here with Mari, Morel. We're getting ready to wrap up the show tonight, but we obviously got to get into our main event. Shout out to the other half of the Social Butterfly, and to everybody tuning in with us tonight. So look, we talked about your MBA briefly, right? Higher education. I mean, there's so many people on different sides of higher education, right?
Yeah.
You got your MBA. Obviously, that wasn't easy.
Oh my goodness, not
right?
Not at all.
It was not easy. So, do you feel like higher education is worth it after everything you've been through? Do you feel that it's worth it?
I think it depends on what your goals are, to be honest. And, you're talking to someone that's all about, all for school and all about education. But at the end of the day, it depends on what your goals are. I mean, education is very important, but if you're really good at a trade, like if you're a good electrician or whatever the case may be, and you could just go to trade school and save yourself some money, because school is expensive. And let's not even, don't even get me going on student loans and how ridiculous,
oh my goodness,
expensive, how much debt young people are getting into. Like, those are things you have to consider before you even go to school. Like, can I afford it? Like, can I afford to take out loans? Am I going to have to work to pay for school while I'm in school? So it's like, it just depends on what your goals are. Like, personally, for me, like, yes, I have the Social Butterfly, and yes, I've been turning it around into a business, but I'm keeping my day job, to be honest.
Of course,
and it's like, as of now, I don't have the goal to be a full-time blogger and not having a job. Like,
of course.
Later on in life, will I love to have my own business and not have to work for someone else? Absolutely. But as of now, my goal is to, have an executive position in corporate America. And if you want that, unfortunately, a bachelor's nowadays is, sadly enough, as expensive as it is not worth much.
Right.
Like, if you want to move on in corporate America, if you want those executive jobs, then a lot of places are looking for a grad school degree, and that's the main reason why I went back to school.
Right.
I had a bachelor's. I did communications. As I mentioned, I wasn't the best, and with broadcasting, I was in banking for a long time. I decided, you know what, I enjoy doing business. Why not go back to school and get an MBA? Because I want to move up.
Right.
So that's the main reason why I did it, So it just depends on what your goals are. Was it worth it for me personally? Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Because I gained so much, and had this interview happened before, I went to grad school 5 years ago, you wouldn't get this much out of me, because I was just not this outspoken at all. And I just feel like I wasn't as knowledgeable about many things. Like, not that I couldn't sit here and have a conversation with you,
right?
But it's just that I just feel like my mind wasn't as open. When you're educated, your mind is exposed to so many things, and it's like you learn different things, you learn different skills, you learn to work with other people, which, I mean, if you're able to collaborate, you'll
effectively
exactly, yeah. You'll be amazed at how much you can get done. And those are a lot of things that you learn in school. Public speaking, collaboration with teamwork. Like, those are a lot of things that you learn in school.
Right.
So, does everyone have to go out and get a grad school degree, an MBA? No. I mean, if you're straight out of, you get your bachelor's and you feel like you're where you need to be and you don't need it, then don't do it. Like, if you're I've spoken to friends that they're into the arts, they're like, I don't really need a a master's for the art. So
Yeah.
what, you know, so if you're fine with that, fine. Save yourself the money, save yourself the grief and aggravation.
Of course.
Because it's not easy. But if you feel like you want to go far in a certain career and it's the route to get there, it's higher education, then, you know, go for it. And
Right.
it's worth it. for
Right,
sure.
right. Now, and with all of that, right, obviously the market has been changing a lot. Even in terms of media over the last 2 years, I mean, from the Me Too movement to you know, women being CEOs of large companies that, you know, you wouldn't normally see a woman
Right.
or a minority at a top level in a company like that. So do you feel like, what do you feel is the reason why a lot of women are becoming the face of many brands, a lot of trends, and just you know, more prevalent in the marketplace today, especially when it comes to business? Like, what do you think is the cause of that?
I think that women we're stepping up more, because for so long we have been underrepresented. And it's like, I was actually looking at some statistics before I came here, and it's like, I was amazed. Out of like everyone that gets MBA degrees, only like 36% are women. And it's like, you know, we feel like, you know, it's our time to step up and, you know, show a face.
Yeah.
And I think that's why things have been changing, and, you know, we're not being silenced anymore. Especially in the social media era, like, everyone has something to say and everyone wants to be heard.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
you know, I think that things are changing, and a lot of companies are realizing too that, you know, you need the support of women.
Yeah.
You know, so a huge thing that
To
you
be
didn't-
more competitive as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of things that you know, something that you didn't hear much about in the past that you hear about now, it's diversity and inclusion. So every company wants to promote diversity and inclusion.
Right.
But how diverse are you being? And diversity and inclusion doesn't just mean, you know, ethnic. It just means men, women, sexual orientation,
Right.
religious beliefs. Like, it means everything.
It's deeper than that, yeah.
Exactly. So a lot of companies want to compete in that market too, because, you know, a company that really has strong values and, you know, that they're promoting that they have diversity and inclusion and they're actually living up to their values, they're going to get the best employees that are out there available. So
Right.
companies want to promote that too, because they also want the good employees.
Yeah.
So
Now, what do you think about these Instagram likes being removed and all this hype with that? Because, you know, it sounds wild. Like, it sounds like it's gonna hurt people. Like, it's gonna hit people hard. But I mean, what are you thinking?
well, from a business standpoint, from like the social butterfly, yes, that would hurt, because but you know what, it's weird, because there's something called engagement, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, your engagement is, you could have 100,000 followers, but if your engagement is like 0.01%, like, you're really, in the business world, you're not worth much.
Right.
So, you know, so engagement is like your likes, comments, and it's like this, you know, they like calculate all these things. So from a business standpoint, yes, it may hurt. But from a personal level, I feel like a lot of people are just being affected. Like, you know, you post a selfie and it's like you're not really getting many likes. A lot of people are really taking that to the heart.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't want to really get too into the whole mental health conversation thing, but you know,
Right.
that's a huge thing, and you know, people are really being affected by this likes and numbers. So I understand why they may want to remove that, because a lot of people are having you know, those kind of issues, self-esteem issues.
Yeah, anxiety.
Yeah.
That's what I think it's coming
Yeah.
down to. Like, people are getting like a heavy anxiety about it, because if you think about the people who really use social media like every day, like almost like an addiction, like there's no
Yeah.
way that they can go one day without jumping on the gram, jumping on Facebook, jumping
Yeah.
on Twitter, jumping on whatever, to see like how their stuff is doing, or to post their stuff or whatever. But remember, like, getting those likes, they're getting what? They're getting that instant, you know, gratification.
Yeah.
You know, they're being validated, right?
Yeah.
So if you have all these people that have been conditioned for years, right? Conditioned for years to be validated by all these people who they don't even know.
Right.
Now you're telling them we're going to rip that away from you, right? And we're just going to test it and see how it works out.
I feel people are going to go nuts, to be honest.
Right?
Yeah. Because to be honest, it's an addiction. It is an addiction. And it's like you're taking away the supply. And it's like, now what?
Well, they classify it as like dopamine hits, right? They're getting dopamine from social media. It's doing what alcohol does. It's doing what cigarettes do, and the nicotine, right? And now, you got Instagram saying, okay, well, we're going to turn this off.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. I mean, maybe because, again, like, I'm just doing business, so, like, my
You're not trying to see it that, like, you don't see it that much.
I'm like, you know what, I'm posting this, but, and this is something different that we started doing since we kind of started rebranding. It's like we're posting with a purpose.
Right.
Because before we used to post like, oh, hey, here's the sunset. But now it's like, okay, here's the sunset. We just came back from Cayman Islands. Here's the sunset in Cayman Island. You could catch the best sunset at 7 Mile Beach. Follow them, whatever. So now we're promoting something.
I like that.
So now it's, now it's not just this. Now it's posting with a purpose. So, now I'm going to post, but now I'm going to look at the hashtag sunset and I'm going to go like the 100 most recent sunset pictures because I want them to come back to my page and like mine. Yeah. So, I'm not just posting and waiting for someone to validate me.
Got it.
I'm going out there and I'm going to hustle for my likes.
Wow.
So, and even if the likes disappear, if I'm having people come to my page and see what I do, then, that's enough. That's enough, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see what happens.
I'm a little curious. I mean, you see how crazy people go when like Instagram's down for a couple of hours. Like I just run to Twitter so I can laugh to look at the memes, but people really have anxiety attacks.
It is.
So
it's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary. So, all right, folks. Shout out to everybody tuning in tonight. And that's going to be our show. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Let's thank our guest, Ms. Marileidy Morel, entrepreneur, commercial banker, and the co-owner at Social Butterfly. Again, shout out to the other half of the Social Butterfly. Samantha. Okay. And we wish you the best of luck with the business. Thank you. And I actually have to say I wish you good fortune as well because I did like a little video about the difference between good fortune and good luck.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So for everybody out there who I put that to, I just had to put that out there for y'all.
Nice.
All right. So thank you so much for tuning in, and to my Level Up family, thank you for watching. And to those of you on the podcast, thanks for listening to On the Rise. Subscribe, leave us a rating or a review so you don't miss any level ups from the show. We'll see you guys next time.